go. Welcome everyone to our Sunday night meeting. So excited that you have decided to come on with us tonight. And Kayla Golden Baxter, is going to be going over Millionaire by Halftime. It's an awesome book for us. We're so excited to have Kayla on with us. And Kayla, you can take it away now. You can unmute yourself. Can you hear me? Kayla, you can unmute yourself. We're going to go ahead and get started. Can you unmute yourself? There you go.
Okay. All right. I hope you all can hear me now.
Yes.
About 2 months ago, Melanie mentioned to me that Presley Swaggerty was going to be at Norman, and she's always messaging me and asking me, how close is this to where you live? And of course, I live way down in the southwestern corner of Oklahoma, so usually it's far away. So anyway, this time she said it's in Norman, which was just 2 hours from me. So I had just started reading his book actually the night before. So I was really excited about getting to go to Norman and hear him speak about Millionaire by Halftime. So that's kind of how I ended up there at his seminar, but it was just the greatest thing. It lasted about 4 hours. There was only probably 20, 25 people there, so it was very personal. We got to visit with him at intermission and take pictures with him, and he's just such a great teacher. I enjoyed listening to him, and I've learned so much just from that seminar and then from reading his book. So anyway, I'm going to share my screen now so that I can tell you everything that I learned. So here we go. Hopefully this is going to work. Sorry, I'm new with this. Okay, here we go. All right, hopefully you guys can all see that now. This is me and Presley Swaggerty, and Millionaire by Halftime is what we're going to be talking about today. And
hey, Kayla, real quick. Sorry, yeah. We can't see your screen.
Okay, what am I doing wrong?
Did you go to share screen?
I did.
Okay, you went to share screen. What is it you're trying to show?
It's a PowerPoint.
A PowerPoint, okay.
Oh, no.
I know, I've never had that problem before.
Okay, let me just go out and try again.
Okay. Sorry.
That's okay. See, when I first put share screen, it shows like your screen, I think.
Oh. My
Hi, Kayla.
Yes.
I'm so proud of you.
Well, I'm proud of me too if this works.
You look pretty.
Oh, thank you. I just don't know. It says like it's got Laura's picture and it's got iPhone, iPad, but it's not my screen.
Oh, goodness.
So
we can see you.
Leaving that on there. Can you see that I'm terrified?
Oh, don't be terrified.
Okay,
if anything, I mean, you can just go over what's on the PowerPoint and then you can share with it on the team page if you want. If you're not able, oh, wait. There you go. We got it. You're sharing it now.
Okay.
It's there.
Okay, let me do my PowerPoint and then.
Yay.
Are you seeing the PowerPoint?
Yes.
Yay. Okay. Now, how do I minimize you and make this bigger? I can't remember how to do that.
Well, we see your screen.
Okay, you see my screen now?
Yep. I'm just going to stop talking. That'll help.
I'm going to start talking now. So, all right, I think we've got it now. Okay, first of all, what I liked, what drew me to Presley Swaggerty in the first place is I'm a teacher, and I've taught this is actually my 25th year of teaching that I've almost finished. And my husband is a teacher and coach, and he's been doing it for 34 years, and he's actually retiring this year. So I just thought, this guy was not a millionaire because he was a teacher and coach. So I know that, if he could do it, then maybe I can do it. So I was really drawn to him, and just, his being a coach and having a game plan and, building a team are all important to what we're trying to do in Plexus. So I was really excited about getting to go to this, and he was really amazing. I enjoyed listening to him, but I want to share some of the great things that he taught us that day. The first thing that he talked about just right out of the gates is, what is your why? And you've heard this before, your why should make you cry. It should mean that much to you. And he said, picture the 3 people that need you to succeed at this business. Imagine them being on the stage with you when you're successful. Or imagine going to tell them that, you finally did it, and that you're living your dream, and you're going to be able to do the things that you wanted to do in your life that you've never had the money to do. Spend more time with your family. Be there for your family more, not having to go to a 8 to 12 hour job every day. So he said, imagine and visualize those 3 people being on stage with you when you finally succeed. Visualize their excitement when you're able to accomplish this. Believe you can do it, and you will figure out how. I really like that because, sometimes so much of it is just your belief. So believing you can do it, and you will figure out the how. So you'll find a way. You'll make a game plan to get there. So I really like that. I thought that was really good. So that's the first thing he talked about is, why are you doing this business? Why do you need it to be successful? What are you trying to accomplish? And who are you doing it for? So this was really good. And this is what he started out with. I was going to tell you a little bit of background about him. He grew up in Pleasant Grove, Texas, which he said was not pleasant. His mom was a teacher by day and a seamstress at night. And he laughed and said he was born with a plastic spoon in his mouth and not a silver spoon. And he said one thing he remembers growing up, though, is that he had a cousin named Manny. And he had never been to a graduation of any sort. Manny was the first person he got to see graduate from high school and then graduate from college. And Manny had this big, amazing house and drove these nice cars and kind of lived up on a hill. And Presley loved to go to his house and spend time with him. And he said whenever he would come back down that hill, he would always think, I want to be like Manny. Somehow, some way, someday I want to be like Manny. He lived in a bad neighborhood and did not have a father in his life, so he really looked up to Manny. And he was kind of his role model when he was growing up. So that's kind of some of his background. I was going to tell you about the turning point in his life. From watching Manny and trying to follow and be like him, he was able to graduate from college and become a successful math teacher and coach at Lakeview Centennial High School in Garland, Texas. He had been at that job for about 16 years whenever he had his turning point. And he told the story. He said he was on recess duty or on duty in the breezeway at the high school. And he was so excited because it was chicken fried steak day. And he loved chicken fried steak, and he was ready to go pay his $2 and have his chicken fried steak after he got through doing his duty that he had to do before lunch. So he talked about walking to the cafeteria, and he pulled out his billfold, and he didn't have a single dollar in his billfold. And he was so mad. So he said he went out to his old beat-up truck parked by the sports cars that the high school kids were driving. And he dug around on the floor of his car and in his ashtray until he found enough money to go have his lunch. And he realized right then that he could never be where he needed to be financially to provide for his family and enjoy the life that he wanted. So he decided right then and there that he was going to do something different, that unfortunately, even though he loved teaching and coaching, he was never going to be able to provide for his family in the way that he wanted. He went to Manny again because that was his role model and that was his father figure, so to speak. And, he researched a bunch of different things, and that's how he got into network marketing. And he never did say exactly what he did. It was something to do with energy, I think. But he really has some great ideas about how to build your team and how to grow your team. And that's what I wanted to share next. One of the things he said is let's is a magic word. After you sign someone up, say, do you have a couple hours? Let's go show this to someone. Who can we show it to? And I know for me, that's hard to be that bold just right out of the gate. But, what could it hurt? And so he talked about how he would sign somebody up and immediately say, let's go show this to somebody. Do you have a sister? Do you have a brother? Who can we show this to? And he said the people were always shocked, like, well, I don't really know if they're home, and I don't know if we should go today. But he said, be bold. And the more you're showing your plan and talking to people, the more successful that you're going to be. You must develop leaders under you. You can't be everywhere if you grow a huge team. And I know it's kind of easy or sort of easy when you have a small team to kind of micromanage and keep up with everybody. But as your team grows, like Melanie and Laura's team, it would be virtually impossible to make contact with everybody and to be in, every situation and be helpful to everybody. So that's why you have to grow leaders. You have to develop leaders under you who can duplicate what you're doing. So he talked about how important that was to develop your leaders under you. We need to be creating independent ambassadors, not dependent ambassadors. And, it's kind of lazy to just, message Melanie or Marilyn or Laura and just say, I don't know how to do this. Tell me how to do this. And I know they're always there to help, but maybe we should start trying to solve problems on our own. And then if we can't solve them, then we can go to our upline because they have a lot of people that they have to, lead. And so it makes it kind of difficult. So try to teach people to be independent, give them the tools that they need to be successful. Webinars are a great way to reach out to people, and conference calls too, especially if you don't live in the same area. So he was real big on webinars and conference calls. And your only ways to success is to show the plan over and over again. So don't take any days off. Keep showing your plan. He said try to show it 4 or 5 times a week because you're going to always have those no's. One story he told was about, he called them bump intos. And he said this is like people that you see at the mall and you just bump into them in your everyday life. Take every opportunity as you're at the mall, ball games, the park, and clubs and organizations. And it was kind of funny how he talked about this because it's kind of hard to talk to strangers sometimes. So he gave us some really good tools for how to approach people that you maybe don't know very well, and talk to them and get them to ask, what do you do? So one of the ways he said is to brag on people's kids and make them feel good. Ask them what they do, and that gives you an opening to say, hey, I got involved in network marketing and I've made a lot of money. Or you could say, do you keep your options open for other revenue? So for people that maybe wanted to just make extra money, you can go to the mall and say, he was talking about going to like a shoe store, a tennis shoe store, and say something like, hey, I bet you own this place, or I bet you make a lot of money. And then, of course, the person's going to say, no, not really. And then you can start telling them about your company or your business opportunity. So I thought that was kind of funny. My company is expanding in this area, and we are looking for key people. You look like you would be perfect for this. Can I interview you? I really like that one. And he said he uses that one a lot. So, that's a good way to just try to expand in other areas. I know I live in Altus, Oklahoma, and our population is only 20,000. So now that I have about 27, 30 people on my team, we're starting to cross over each other a lot. So we're trying to find people that are in other small communities or in other towns to start reaching out and sharing our opportunity there, because you can't just stay in one little small area and expect, especially if you're growing a team, to not, cross over each other. So we're trying to expand. So that's a perfect way to say something to someone, especially if they're a person that you can tell has a great personality. They know a lot of people. They just have the right kind of temperament for this kind of opportunity. How to handle rejections. I really like this too, because I've heard this one before. He said, if they say, I need to sleep on it, pray about it, talk to my spouse about it, then you say, I will call you tomorrow and you can let me know what you have decided. I will need to know if you are in it or not, in or not. So he said, don't wait, a week or two, because it will be hard to start that conversation again. He said, call him the very next day and just say, I need to know if you are in or out. Also, you can say, I only work with 3 people at a time. I need to know if you are one of them. So make people commit. If people say no, you can say, do you mind if I call you in 3 months and tell you how my business is going? He said, put it on your calendar and contact them in 3 months. Their situation may have changed. And that one has actually happened to me before. I had a person I'd been working on for, probably 5 or 6 months. And I just shared with her a couple weeks ago, and she was like, I really do. I'm ready. I really do need this in my life. So you never know. So that's why it's important to keep your list and keep following up with people. He talked about the culture, how you should create a culture. If you want to attract people, be someone people want to be around. In other words, don't come in, all grumpy at work and, exhausted, especially since we have our pink drink and we should never act that way. But be someone that people want to be around. Have energy and be excited. Make people feel special. Have fun. Learn and grow. If you want more, you have to become more. Personal development there is so important. I've loved reading some of the books that I've read lately with Presley Swaggerty and Andy Andrews and Maxwell and Big Al. So, you have to learn and you have to have a plan, and personal growth is just so important. And he talked about that a lot. Use the bulk of your time setting appointments and showing the plan. And this is our, income producing activity. Don't spend a lot of times, managing files and doing stuff like that. If you want to be successful, you have to be setting up appointments and showing the plan as much as possible. If you're working full time in the nooks and crannies of your day, but you have to be out there showing your plan. Recognition is so important to develop culture. He said, babies cry for it and grown men die for it. I'd heard that before. So reward your team and the activity that they do. So be a cheerleader for your team. When somebody promotes, be sure that you recognize them, and you know how hard they've worked for that. So you need to recognize them and cheer them on and make them feel special, because they've worked really hard. Personal sponsoring and producing. Your team is watching. Do not fall into management mode. Be positive. So after a while, I could see how you could kind of fall into management mode and think, well, they're growing, so I'll just try to support them. But you should try every month I always say in Plexus, to go silver every month. You need to personally add 3 people every month, and your team is watching you, and they will see that you're not quitting and you're not giving up on this, and just be positive with them all the time. Promotion, create a culture of promoting. This month, my team we were kind of slow starting, but this month we've really taken off, and I've had 4 people go silver this month, and that was a huge thing, and we're really excited about that. And so, tell people, this is the first step to gold, and your next step is gold. So, don't let them settle for, I'll just be silver, but tell them, the next step is gold, and then senior gold, and show them the compensation plan, and, show them what can be done, and encourage them and be positive. Big events, inspire and motivate. Go to regional, national events. It raises belief. Get everyone on your team to attend. I've kind of struggled with this. A lot of people on my team just don't have the money or time, they feel like, to go to these events. But that's an area that I'm really going to start trying to work on more, because I know how excited I get when I go to events, and I know that they'll be excited too, and kind of, catch catch this vision and dream and want to make it and be up on that stage. So I'm really going to try to work on the big events part as far as my team goes. The next thing was power of, in Plexus, we always talk about the power of 3, and I'm not a math person, but this is really cool. I mean, he just told us to write these dates and numbers down. And, in a little while, we figured it out that, just by adding 1, and then you have that person add 1, you're going to have 2 in February. And then both of those 2, you teach them and train them to add 1 each. And so then you have 4 in March. If you just taught and duplicated 1 at a time, not even 3, just 1, by December, you would have 2,048 people, which is incredible. So he talked about, just 1. So that was pretty neat, because sometimes 3 goes a little bit, but 1 is very doable, especially if you train and teach and show them, how to duplicate that, how to duplicate what you're doing. Goal setting. He told us during the presentation to just text 88202 and type in rules, and he'll actually send you the rules, so you might want to do that. His website is right there. He's got videos on his website that are really good. He also talks about having a dream board. I don't know if any of y'all have ever done that. At the end of the presentation, I'm going to show you my dream board. But one thing he said is, instead of just having a dream board, have a dream board with a date of completion by each pitcher. And I'd never thought of doing that before. So, have a deadline for your dreams. It motivates you to get where you need to be. I know in Plexus, we try to get to Emerald, so that we can go by that date, so that we can go to Hawaii. So there are deadlines, and, give your dreams a deadline. It's okay if you don't make it, but just put a new date. So he talked a lot about that. Write a list of goals with dates of completion by them, and read them every night before you go to bed, because this attaches them in your brain and makes you think about what you have to do every single day. Prioritize them and put them in order of dates of completion. He says you should have health goals, wealth goals, relationship goals, personal growth goals, and business goals. And then he also talked a lot about having a daily to-do list. Have a plan. Have an action plan every day of what you need to accomplish. Who are you going to talk to? Make a list. Who are you going to show your opportunity to? And he says, try to show it 3 to 5 times a week. He says to this day, he carries a little notebook in his pocket. And he said every night he puts a red X for how many times he showed the plan that day, and shown his opportunity that day. And he said that keeps him accountable. And he says he still does that to this day. So he keeps his in just a little notebook that he carries around with him. More goals. To be successful requires action. This typically means a lot of sweat and tears over a period of time, but is so worth it. So he talked about, in network marketing, he called it the 4 to 5 year business or job. He said it's not going to be a 40-year haul. It's really, if you can work really hard, you can be successful in 4 to 5 years. You have to work hard though, and you have to treat it as your business. It's not a hobby. You have to work hard at it. You start with dreams and then set goals to achieve them. Goals are the roadmap to achieving these dreams. And then the game plan to achieve your goals. Your goals need to motivate you. They've got to be big and important enough to you that nothing will prevent you from reaching them. So when you write your goals down, make sure that they go along with your why, and make sure that they're important enough to you that you have to be successful. For example, part of my why is my daughter. Her name's Kennedy. She's 21, and she's special needs. And so she will always live with my husband and I. We will never have an empty nest, which is fine. That's, what God wants for us. And she's such a blessing. But my why, and why I have to make this work for me, is that she needs me now. She's not in school anymore. My mom takes care of her the best she can, but my mom has MS. So I have to make this work for them. So that is what motivates me. Like, nothing is going to prevent me from being successful, so that I can retire in 4 years, maybe sooner, hopefully. And I've got to be there for them. So make sure that your goals motivate you and that they matter. They need to be measurable. Define them in a way that is clear, concise, and measurable. Know how you will know when you reach them. So this can kind of go along with your dream board and your dates of completion. Don't just say, I'm going to be diamond. Have a date by it. Have a plan to work towards how you're going to do that. What are you going to have to do to reach that goal by that date? Write it down. Don't just have it in your head. He said, write it down. It's so important to read it and change it. He said, you're going to update your why. You're going to update your goals. So be sure and write them down and create urgency. What steps do you need to take to reach these goals? Number 1, make a list of everything you will need to do. Number 2, prioritize this list. Number 3, sequence the list. And then 4, revisit, review, and revise. Okay, writing it down as your roadmap, you need to look at it daily. Use words like I will reach or I will do. So I thought that was really important too, because my goal list didn't really look like that. So I changed mine to where it says I will reach and I will do. Take action daily, every single day, whether you feel like it or not. Do 5 things that will help you reach your goals. So he said, never take a day off from your dreams and your goals. Because you need to take action. And then the main thing is never quit. Make up your mind that you will succeed. Tell yourself that no matter what obstacles may come your way, you will overcome. Setbacks and frustrations will occur, but that is no reason to quit. So never, ever quit. You're going to get there eventually if you never give up. If you do it every single day, you're going to eventually get there unless you quit. Now that you have a roadmap, spend a day or two and really establish, polish up, or redefine your goals. So I would say if you do not have any goals right now, or you don't have like your dreams written down or your action plan as far as, when you want to rank up. For example, I had set senior gold for me for like the end of the summer. And Melanie nicely got on to me and said, oh, you can do that much quicker than that. So I revised it, and I've reset it for the end of May. May 31st is when I want to be senior gold. And so I'm going to make an action plan of how I'm going to get there. I've already made an action plan of how I'm going to get there. So, know what you've got to do, set you a deadline, and then have an action plan. One thing they said is be bold when you decide how you're going to do this, and step out of your comfort zone and message your goals to your immediate upline, just so you can have an accountability partner. And this will make you not give up on your goals, and they can encourage you. And I know I would be thrilled if somebody in my downline messaged me their goals and what they wanted to accomplish, because I want them to be successful too. So that's kind of action plan. He talked about, 4 P's. Plan, prepare, produce, and provide. Plan, write goals and put the date. Prepare, personal growth, be a reader. Okay, this was one thing he said. People waste so much time watching TV. And he talked about how if you read, some really good literature every night, maybe Presley Swaggerty or, somebody else. Andy Andrews is somebody that I really like. If you read 15 minutes every night, by the end of the year, you would have read I forget what he said, 12 to 15 books just by reading a little bit each night. So he said, be a reader. Don't waste your time watching TV. Take action steps and run with positive people. If you hang around with negative people, they tend to bring you down. One thing he said is every relationship you have will either pull you up or drag you down. So try to hang around with positive people. Watch YouTube videos 30 minutes before bed of inspirational people. Let you, finish your day with some inspiration. And then produce. This is where he says, this is not a 40-year job. Plug along and work hard for 2 to 5 years to be a network marketing success. And then provide, draw a line in the sand and provide for your family like you never dreamed possible. Say, this is the day my life changes. It is so much more than money, it is a lifestyle. So I really liked his 4 Ps. That was good. And then this I meant to share earlier, but I don't know how it got moved to the bottom, but I love this. This is probably my favorite thing that he did, because I tend to, even though I'm a teacher and I talk to kids all the time, I do struggle a little bit with just talking to people. I kind of tend to isolate myself. And so Plexus has really helped me to step out of my comfort zone. I don't know if it's because part of it's just having a special needs child. I think sometimes I want to just like keep her at home and protect her and, you know, not go out in public and not, and I mean, she's great in public and we do really good, but I just, for a few years there, we just went through some stuff where I just kind of isolated myself. So I, at first in Plexus, was wanting to hide behind like texting and just sending people messages. And I didn't want to talk to people face to face. And so I didn't really know what to say to people in messages. So I love this 4 circles method that he taught us for calling prospects. He said, pick up the phone, don't hide behind text and messaging, and actually call people and talk to them, because then they can hear your voice and they can tell, you know, they can hear your enthusiasm. They can tell that you're excited about this, and hopefully they will see that, you know, this might be something for them. But he had the 4 circles, and in one circle was share and show, only, just, may and may not, and 2 choices. And you can do these in any order that you want. So here's an example. You could call Heather and say, hi, Heather, this is Kayla. This may or may not be for you, but I have something I would like to share. It will only take about 20 minutes of your time. Can I call you tonight or tomorrow? So I had share, it will only take, may or may not, and then 2 choices. He said always end with a question and with choices. So say, you know, can I call you tonight or tomorrow, or is weeknights or the weekend better for you? And really pin people down and make them say, you know, yeah, I would like to set up a time with you tomorrow. So I've actually used this since I went to this seminar. I've done it 3 times and it's worked every single time. All 3 times I got a meeting with somebody. So I'm really sold on this 4 circles method. I think it's really, really good. And it's so easy. And it's all just scripted right there for you. So I really, really like this one. And then I'm going to share, it's nothing fancy, but here is my dream board. And I teach high school kids. I actually teach English at an alternative school. So I actually have kids that maybe don't dream anymore, which is really sad. And so they kind of make fun of me because I used to be an elementary teacher and I like to like cut and glue stuff. And so about 2 months ago, I bought a bunch of poster boards in and I brought a bunch of glue and markers. And I was like, we're going to make a dream board. And at first they were like, well, you don't want to do that. That's silly. But I was like, I'm going to show you mine. So anyway, once they got started, they really enjoyed it. And, you know, I was like, how are you going to have that big house? You know, what kind of job are you going to have to be able to afford to live like that? So it's really a good lesson. But you can see mine's kind of Plexus pretty much. But I had some favorite quotes that I liked about being successful. And then there's my Lexus, hopefully soon, and my trip to Hawaii. And then my husband and I strive to be debt-free. We do Dave Ramsey, so that's another thing that we're dreaming about and wanting to accomplish. Then, of course, Special Olympics and Compassion are 2, and also St. Jude's. I didn't put St. Jude's on here, but these are, and then this is my house in Arkansas with a big, you know, balcony that goes all the way across to have my coffee every morning by a golf course. So this is my dream board. And then one of the things that I went back and did after going to Presley Swaggerty is I reset my goals to say I will. And I've also set dates for each thing. Like my Plexus goals are, I want to be senior gold by May 31st of 2016. I want to be Ruby by October 31st, 2016. I will be senior Ruby on January 31st, 2017. I will be Emerald on July 31st, 2017. And so just having a date of completion for your goals kind of gives me a deadline. It makes me know what I have to do to be senior gold by May 31st. So it gives you a game plan. It gives you a deadline of when you want to make this happen. So anyway, that is Presley Swaggerty. And let me get it off of here. Oh, wait, that didn't work. Hold on. All right, are y'all still there? Okay, I was going to show you guys. I don't know if you can see this. This is Millionaire by Halftime, and this is the book that I went over tonight. And then he also has a new book that I haven't read yet, and it's called Be, Do, and Have More. So this is his new book that I haven't read yet. So I'm looking forward to reading that one. And also, I was going to mention at the seminar, he had a promo code, and I don't know if it still works or not, but it's worth a try. It was for 40% off. And so if you go into his website, which is presleyswaggerty.com, you can find the books that you want and type in spring, capital S, spring 40, and that's a promo code for 40% off. So hopefully that will work also for you to get his books, because you will love Millionaire by Halftime. It was just really, really good. I think you'd really like it. So I hope you guys can all order that. And that's all. That's my presentation of Presley Swaggerty.
Thank you, Kayla. That was awesome. Oh my gosh, I have so many notes written down.
Okay, good. I'm glad you liked it.
It was awesome. I know it helped so many people.
Yeah, and the book is excellent. And don't get it on Kindle or anything. Actually buy the book so that you can highlight and draw arrows and circle things, because it's that kind of book that you'll want to do that.
Thank you so much. I can't wait to read it. It's actually on my list for sure as one I want to read. So
yeah,
You did a great job.
So, well, thank you all for joining me, and
Thank you.
I appreciate it, and y'all have a good evening.
thank you,
too.
Kayla.
Oh, any questions? I didn't ask that. Does anybody have any questions?
I think we're all going to go order the book. It sounds wonderful.
Oh, good. Well, I saw Sarah mention that she'd read the book, but thank you, Sarah. Got so much more out of it. It was just so nice to hear him in person talk about the different stories, and he's just a really great speaker, and you just kind of hang on his every word, which is it was really neat, and you'll really like the book. So thank you for having me on tonight. I appreciate it. Y'all have a good evening.